Blog Talk Radio. Hello, you're listening to Show Talk with Angela Butler. Today the interview is with Miss Janine Africa. She is one of the ladies of the family, of the Africa family, under Mr. John Africa, who is deceased. How are you doing this afternoon, Miss Africa?
On the move. I'm all right. It's a little rough. I'm a little emotional and a lot angry about this new situation of these people telling us that they have the remains of our children and have had them for 36 years. So, understandably, me and my family are very, very upset right now.
Yes, I understand that. You should be very upset. Were any of the children your children? A child of yours?
Well, based on what they're saying, no. But we're wondering, what did they do with everybody? Because nobody ever contacted me and said anything about my son. So we really don't know what they have done with any of our families at this point.
My goodness. And you've been through so much already, so many horrible things.
I know. It's and I think that's what hurts too, because it was hard for us in 1985 when we found out, and we've been dealing with this for 36 years, and then to have them come out and say this now, it's like taking us back to 1985 and reliving the murder of our family all over again.
Having to relive it.
Yes, and think about things and, discuss things that we should not be having to talk about now at this time. When do we get to heal? We trying to do our healing process and get over this and keep going. And now, here we go again. We have to deal with this.
What
we understand that people want to know things and ask us stuff, but so that means we have to discuss this every day now with people, and we're doing it because we want people to know, and we want people to know how we feel, and we want attention drawn to this. But can you imagine talking about the death of your children and your brothers and sisters and all the animals over and over again every day?
It's horrible. It's traumatizing all over again. It's hell on earth.
Yes. So
yes, it's hell on earth.
So, we're doing it, but at this point right now, we're just so angry. We just don't even want to deal with none of the people that's involved in this and responsible for this. Even though we know we're going to have to, but it's just really hard for us right now. We want to make it clear. It's hard, it's hurting, and we're angry, but we are not beat down. We're not giving up. We're not falling apart.
So they use children's remains, your family's remains, for 36 years in anthropology?
According to what we found out and what has been in the papers, they have been using them like on display, exhibit for different students. They've even made an online process video misusing
on Coursera.
The remains of
Coursera.
Yeah.
Coursera. Coursera. Yeah. I was going to take a class on Coursera, but I'm not going to do it now.
So, what happened was they were getting pressure on them for what they've been doing to, they have like what they call 1,000 Skull Project. And people were protesting against that. It was, a furor coming up behind that. And this came out in that. If it wasn't for that, we still would never have known that this is what they were doing with our family.
They didn't give them a burial.
No.
My goodness.
No. They
Lord
got
have
them,
mercy.
They got them somewhere in a drawer, pulling them out when they want to teach somebody else about forensic anthropology. Never contacting us, never saying, we have the remains of your family. Do you want them? What do you want us to do? Nothing. They've just been doing this for 36 years.
Monstrous.
And the thing is we told people that this system hates MOVE, hates John Africa, and they feel the same way about our children. Because when they dropped that bomb and killed our children, Ramona told us that our family was hollering for bringing the children out. And they had the children in plain sight with their hands up, showing that they're unarmed, and they was just bringing the children out. And Mona said they still shot them back in the house. And now we know why, because they didn't want the children to come out. They wanted to kill the children. And when they had the commission hearing behind this bombing, Police Commissioner Sambor stated that they saw the children as much as a threat as the adults, meaning we meant to kill them too. And you could see it because who would do this to anybody remains, but to the remains of children? Children?
I saw the video, and they said one of the people said the bones were juicy. That's sick. Evil.
So, you can understand how we're feeling right now. And this is not going to disappear. We're going to make sure. And a lot of people here have protested against the Penn Museum and the Princeton University because they had sent the remains there for a while. So it's not being quiet. It's not being swept under the rug.
No, it's not being swept under. I read it in the Philadelphia Tribune. I saw it on blackpushblack.org, and I saw it on YouTube, and it's been in the news.
Yeah.
I believe CBS.
So, we just, how heartless and cold the people running this government is, and how they don't have no feelings for children. They don't. And we just want people to know that. And if we have to go through this pain to help expose that, then so be it. So be it. At least we know something is coming out of this, and what they have done to our family, our children, our animals will not be in vain, because they are still exposing this system even in death. So, I mean, nobody wants to go through this, but it's still accomplishing something. It's still showing people about this system and making people react and come together and speak out. So that's something there. I mean, like I said, it hurts, but at least this system is still being exposed, and we just want everybody to just come together and show this system how they feel about what they've been doing for hundreds of years. This is what they did to our children is not the first time. They've been doing this. It's just that they made a bad mistake when they messed with the MOVE organization. But they have been doing this to poor people, people of color, for years and years and years and years. And we just want people to see this and see that you have to fight. You have to speak out, because this, just like John Africa said, this system keeps hell on people.
And what makes it so bad is that the bombing was in 1985. I was 15 years old. I was in the 10th grade.
Mm-hmm. I know. 36 years. 36 years.
In modern day times.
Yes.
This wasn't in the 1800s.
In a
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
An urban community.
Urban community, 1985, and it was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Exactly. Yeah, not
you wouldn't expect that.
Countries.
No, this was here in America.
Yep. So, I just want people to know this and stand up and let their voice be heard, because if you don't, like John F. said, if you don't, coming at you, they're going to keep hell on your neck. So you might as well fight to get it off of you, because being quiet is not going to protect you.
That's right.
So
you have to fight, because it could be anybody's family that the government decides that they don't like.
Yes. Yes. And really look at all the examples. George Floyd, Walter Wallace, Breonna Taylor. These people weren't standing up confronting this system. And look what they did to them, because it's just like Move was telling people 50 years ago, if you sit by and let this be done to Move, it's going to be at your doorstep tomorrow. And that's exactly what's been happening.
It happened to you and your family. Now it's happening all over the country.
Exactly. So you might as well band together and show this system that you will not stand for it. It's pressure on this system. Write letters, phone calls, emails, faxes, all different kind of activities that people can do to put pressure on this system and let them know that they're not going to let them get away with it. That's the only thing that backs them off. They don't do nothing for right's sake. They only do what they're pressured to do. And if you don't put that pressure on them and they feel like you're accepting it and they can get away with it, they will do more and more and more and more. And people have to understand that. This is not a Move issue. This is an issue of freedom, equality,
humanity.
Righteousness. And that's what people got to keep in mind, got to stand up for and fight, because this system, this government ain't just trying to hurt Move. They are hurting everybody.
Delicia Africa and Tree Africa are human beings. They were human beings. They had a family who loved them.
Yes. And we will never, ever.
They were only 14 years old.
Faces. We'll never see their beautiful faces, hear their laughter, hear their voices. We will never, never have that.
So in 1985, when they bombed your house, that wasn't the end of it. It's continued. They sent you all to prison, some of you. They killed your children. They killed 11 members of your family. I mean, they bombed 65 other houses in an urban neighborhood. I mean, it was just, I believe they were called row houses. And now, today, as we talk May 1st, 2021, they're talking about having kept the remains of the Africa family children, Delicia Africa and Tree Africa, for about 36 years.
Exactly. But just
and
like
use them for anthropology forensics.
So, and we're not going to stop, Angela. We're not going to stop fighting. We're not going to give in. We're not giving up. We ain't slowing down. And
is it true, Miss Africa, Mr. Neen Africa, that they gave the remains to a funeral home? Or is that not true?
I don't know.
I read that this morning from the Philadelphia Tribune.
Yeah, well, we haven't been notified of that as of yet.
They need to give it to the family.
So I don't know.
They need to give the remains to the family so they can have a decent burial.
Well,
all right.
I tell you, that pressure is what, if they did that, it's the pressure of the people that made them do that, and to keep the pressure on, and we will get our family back. Their remains, because that we will never have our family back. But at least
you had 200 or 300 people marching yesterday and protesting in front of the dean of Philadelphia University. What's the name of the university? Pennsylvania State University, Penn State University.
Mm-hmm.
That's where that child rapist was. So you had quite a few people there protesting in front of his home where he lived at.
Okay.
Miss Pam Africa was there.
Yeah, see, that's what we're talking about. And it's that kind of stuff that helps us through this, too. When we see the support, the concern from people that don't even know us, it helps us to get through times like this. So we appreciate it. We're thanking everybody and telling them that, from the MOVE organization, we thank them.
Yeah, it was every bit of 300. Okay. What are you doing now, Miss Africa, Miss Janine Africa? What are you doing right now?
I have taken care of some business, so I'm not home, and so that's why I can't stay on the line like that, because I have to take care of some things and do something for the family.
All right. Okay.
But you're always there for us, and that's why even though I had to do this, I knew that I was going to have to talk on your show, too, because you have been there for us since we came home from prison.
Yes, ma'am.
And so, it was no way I was not going to do the show for you.
Yes, ma'am. How many years did you spend in prison for something you did not do?
41 years.
41 years. All right. Is Muma Abu Jamal, is he any close to getting out? Is he any better, or is he still sick?
Well, he's better, but he's still sick, and that's what we're telling people, too. If this system want to show any sign that they're trying to repair or resolve this situation that they have caused, Mumia is still alive, and we want Mumia free. That's what they could do for us. Free Mumia so that he doesn't die in that place, and so he can come home and get the proper care that he needs.
Hatred. And they tried to kill him also and frame him, like they framed you all.
Yep, and they're still trying to kill him through what we are telling people is medical assassination. They caused him to be sick, and now once they got him sick, they're trying to kill him by not giving him the proper treatment he needs. And we want him home. We want him home. We don't want him to come home and die like our brother Delbert did 6 months after getting home from the same thing, medical assassination, like they did my husband, Phil Africa, in 2005.
He died from medical assassination, your husband did?
2015, yes, and my sister Merle in 1998. Same thing. The healthiest people in the prisons, and they suddenly get ill and die. And the prison, when they got pressured, said that they died under suspicious circumstances.
More terror.
Yeah.
More dehumanization. More terror. You're treated like less than a human being because you've lost all your rights for something, all your civil rights and human rights, just about for something you did not do just because they didn't like you. They didn't like the way you lived your life. They didn't like the way you passed out pamphlets. They didn't like the way you protested.
That's right, for telling the truth.
For telling the truth.
We told them, we gave them the truth, and they gave us blackjack, prison sentences, and death, bombs, guns. and we're saying we don't want Mumia to be the next name on that list.
And then you find out that your children, they have their remains. Penn State does, and Princeton University had them.
So,
and they don't want to give any reparation. They won't return the children to the family. According to the Philadelphia Tribune, they gave the children remains to a funeral home. According to the Philadelphia Tribune, there in Philadelphia. I don't know if that's true or not. I have no way of checking it out.
Well, whatever, when we find out anything and resolve anything, Angela, we will let you know.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Janine. Thank you for coming on Show Talk with Angela Butler.
Thank you. On the move.
On the move. All right, everyone, you've just got through listening to Miss Janine Africa. Miss Africa is a member of the Africa family. She spent 40 years in prison for a crime she did not do. Her and Miss Janet Africa did, among others, for something the home was bombed, one of the row houses in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, all because they didn't like them. They didn't like the way they lived. They didn't like the animals. They didn't like that they had animals. They didn't like that they considered themselves a family, that they were passing out pamphlets. And they just didn't like the Africans, John Africa and what he stood for. The things that are going on today have put in the environment, animals, saving animals, the environment, the inhumane criminal justice system, reform the prison, reform the police. All of that is what they were talking about back then. They were passing out pamphlets about it. If you notice, ever since they got away with that in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania with the Africa family, sending them to prison, bombing their house and 65 other houses, keeping their children remains, there have been more and more murders. And I tend to believe what Mr. Janine said, what Mr. John Africa said. They got away with that. They would continue. They would get worse and worse and worse. They continue to kill. And that's what's been happening. Mr. Floyd, Miss Breonna Taylor, Mr. Andrew Brown Jr., and so many others that didn't make it to videos have been murdered. There are others that didn't make the video that they have killed and murdered, the police have. And the police did the same thing with the Africans. The government did. There in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that is the government. The police, the mayor, the council, the commissioners, all that's government. So they killed these people saying they did something they didn't do when they were all in the basement. And the others were in prison. They framed them. They were framed, sent to prison, murdered, and no apology has been offered to them directly. No one has apologized to the Africa family directly. Nobody has returned the remains of those children, Delisha Africa and Tree Africa, to their family, their rightful family. They won't return them. Give them a decent burial. They were human beings, Delisha Africa and Tree Africa, 14 years old, and they murdered them. They murdered them in cold-blooded murder. And according to Miss Janine, they made the children go back inside, made them all go back inside, shot them, shot their way back inside till they ran back inside the building to burn to death in a bomb. Now, this is America. This is the monster that this country is. Come on this show, to take time to come on Show Talk with Angela Butler is a blessing. Because I want to say this. This can happen to anyone. I'm not just on the pulpit preaching. This can really happen to anyone. Look at Mr. Floyd. Look at Breonna Taylor. Look at the Africans. Look at Mumma Abu Jamal. He's still in prison for something he didn't do. And he was a journalist. He was a journalist. He didn't kill John Falkland. They were set up. He was set up. all because he called into a radio show and asked the judge, do you know who killed the police officer? And the judge said, no, I don't know which one of them killed them. But they sentenced them as a family because they said they were a family. How that goes. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to Show Talk with Angela Butler.